Do you want to know the simplest video setup that actually works? Because it's going to save you a lot of time. I'm sure you know what it's like when you got to constantly rearrange your lights, change your camera angle, putz around with your microphone, or you're always changing your camera settings and you still just can't get a good shot. It just kind of demoralizes you and maybe makes you stop shooting content or think it's not for you. I've been there. I kept shooting through it all. In fact, I'm really stubborn and I published crappy videos for a long time because I just wanted to get them out. I needed to express myself and experiment and learn my style and stuff. But I didn't get the best views or attention on those videos, and I always wanted to improve. I wanted my videos to look and sound better. So I kept experimenting over the years. I didn't rush the process, and I found a setup that actually works. But before I even discovered that, I made a ton of mistakes, as I told you. Like, for example, I'd sometimes have the lighting either too bright, too overexposed on the side of my face, like this shot here. I did that a bunch of times. Sometimes I'd have it too dark, and that wasn't very cool. I had it with these awkward shadows sometimes. I had mismatched color tones that just didn't give off the vibe that I wanted. And a lot of times too, I would make mistakes with my audio recording. Today we're gonna talk about content creation. Guys, excuse me. And I didn't have good sound, and that just ruins the whole video altogether. But I realized that there's a simpler way to set up your video gear without it being so stressful and taking so much time. I also used to think these tube lights were really cool to have on the set or put them behind furniture pieces so that there'd be a cool glow coming from behind the furniture. I used to think that just having those in the shot made it a cool video. It made me seem like I was a validated, cool content creator. But in reality, it just seemed forced. I got a comment on one of my YouTube videos once and it made me so self-conscious. I was like, oh, he said something like, it looks so contrived. And I was like, oh, he's right. But I also don't care. I just wanted to get the video out. But truth is, I did care. I wanted to improve it. So I actually have a tube light set up right now, but it's on the floor. It's just making that nice orange glow behind me. It's really subtle, but instead of having like a bunch of these going off, with like an animation, it's kind of just like too jarring sometimes. I realized I really only needed one. So let me show you my lighting setup. I'm just gonna film this from my phone so you can see the view from where I'm at. All right, first things first, my camera. It's a straight on shot, but if you check this out, I'll go to the wide here. I'm shooting in a pretty small room, pretty close quarters, right? Check this out. If I bump this out to a wider angle, you see that shadow on the wall over there? It's just kind of distracting. So in a small room, I punch into 35 millimeters and that cuts out where the shadow is falling. You can't really see it. And it's just kind of tighter on me, puts more focus on me. So that's what I shoot for the camera, right? And don't mind all my stuff there. I do work out, look at that dumbbell pile and yoga mats and a balance board. I use that at the stand-up desk right here. Oh yeah, there's my logo, by the way. Anyway, that's the camera, right? So that's how I have my composition. I have it balanced. I'm like right in the center of the frame. It's pretty easy, right? It's a simple shot. And I got like some interesting things in the background. I got my bookshelf. I have lights on my desk right here. I have a plant and then I have my logo up there. Super simple. It reflects me and who I am. I didn't overthink it. I used to think I needed those tube lights like I showed you, but turns out I don't. I just have the one on the floor shining up. That's pretty good. So that covers composition, your framing and your set, right? And then your camera settings. Here's my camera settings. This also helps with composition. I have my ISO at 640 to give me enough light. F-stop, the aperture is at 2.8 so that I'm in focus and the background's a little bit blurry. My shutter speed is twice my frame rate. So my frame rate is 24 frames a second, so I'm shooting at double that, which would be 48, but add 2 for this camera, right? And I did my white balancing. I just used this piece of paper. I put it where I'll be sitting and I put the target on the camera for the white balance right there. It's white, set it, I'm good to go. So that covers composition. Then we have my lighting. I have my key light right here, which is just a really small minimalist softbox on this thing. It's made by Lume Cube. I like it a lot. It's lightweight, easy to move around. I have it at like, let's see here, right there, 50% level. So 100% would be its brightest. And I set it to 5200 degrees Kelvin, right? And then over here on my fill light, it's not aimed directly at me, but I have it set at the same color temperature, 5200 Kelvin, which is pretty close to daylight. I just kind of wanted a bright tone. And I have this set to 45%, so it's a little bit weaker, but as you can see, it's turned around. So it's bouncing off the wall. It helps that I have mostly a white wall right here. That bounces the light a bit more versus if it was a dark wall, but you can get bouncers if you need to, and you can bounce it off of a dark wall a little bit. That way it's not too harsh on me, but it adds a little more balance. Light on this side, but you can see I have a little bit of shadow on this side. It's brighter on this side of my face. That's a good cinematic look that you want. And then behind me, I have a floor light that's lighting the back of my head. If you look right here, it's kind of lighting the back of my head, separating me from the background a little bit. That's pretty important. And then I have my double tube light. This one's usually not here, but that's the main tube light right there. And it just adds a little bit of a warm glow right there. And I used to have them stood up, but it just seemed kind of cluttered right there. So I got an ET doll and a stuffed eagle and an old school video camera and all my books and, you know, some maps and a picture of the mountain town where I live. And yeah, that's it for lighting, right? It's pretty simple. You don't always need 3 lights like that, but I like to have 3 for an option because sometimes I move around and shoot in a different location. And it just depends where I am. Sometimes I feel if I'm in the center of 3 lights, I'm in like a lit triangle. And that just seems to give you the right amount right there. And these are really inexpensive, easy, lightweight lights, really easy to control. They don't get too hot. LED lights, it's really the way to go for a simple home or office setup like this. And then the last thing is the audio. So you can see right here, I have my wireless receiver. It's plugged into the camera and that's picking up the sound. And then I have the wireless microphone right here. I just clip it onto me. Usually I have it in a pocket right here. So I had to test differently and turn it down right here because it's closer to my mouth. So it's a little bit louder, but it's doing fine. I just test for each shot. So that's really my setup right there. Like I got the 3 technical pillars of video right there. The composition, the lighting, and the sound. And then after that, it's all about your concept and your message and what you say. So this is how you capture the actual physical movement and the sound of your video. And after that, it just comes down to getting your messaging right and doing your editing. But if you have a simplified setup like this, it really just makes it so much easier, so much simpler. And it's gonna save you a lot of headache and you're not gonna get burned out. So yeah, if you wanna save yourself some time and headache when you do your video shoot, I have a free video shoot checklist. The link is in the comments. You can check that out. Download it and it'll just make sure that you stay on track and you don't make the big mistakes when you set up for your video shoot. So yeah, if you like this video, give me a like and subscribe. I'll be making more stuff about video and storytelling and showing up as your authentic self in the future. So thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.